Oblivion. I'm sick of the neon, I'm sick of the grid, I'm sick of the things that the syndicate did. The domes are a prison of polymer glass, I'm filling the cylinders full of the gas. I aim at the perimeter, heavy and fast. I'm making a statement that's gonna last. The warning is screaming, do not go outside, but I'm taking the apocalypse out for a ride. The wasteland is toxic, the wasteland is dead, but I'd rather burn out than be chained to the bed. I shatter the boundary, breaking the dome. The radioactive desert is finally home. Oblivion overdrive into the dust. A chariot built out of anger and trust. I'm leaving the system, I'm leaving the code. A suicidal run on a desolate road. Oblivion overdrive, blazing the trail, where all of the logic and circuitry fail. The acid is eating the paint off the door. I press on the accelerator, giving it more. The sky is a canopy painted in rust, a beautiful nightmare of violence and dust. No law in the Badlands, no speed limit signs, just the wreckage of ships and the rusted out mines. I'm a rogue comet burning right out of the sky. I finally learned how it feels to defy. The wasteland is toxic, the wasteland is dead, but I'd rather burn out than be chained to the bed. I shatter the boundary, breaking the dome. The radioactive desert is finally home. Oblivion overdrive into the dust. A chariot built out of anger and trust. I'm leaving the system, I'm leaving the code. A suicidal run on a desolate road. Oblivion overdrive, blazing the trail, where all of the logic and circuitry fail. No masters, no limits. Burn it down, burn it all Oblivion overdrive into the dust. A chariot built out of anger and trust. I'm leaving the system, I'm leaving the code. A suicidal run on a desolate road. Oblivion overdrive, blazing the trail, where all of the logic and circuitry fail. Into the wasteland, nothing to lose. Oblivion. like I'm just a shade of the man you knew. The walls are closing, the air is cold, a story that's already been told. We have the money, we have the fame, but we're just players in a hollow game. One thing is missing, one thing is lost, and we're the ones who pay the cost. What about love? Don't you want it anymore? What about the hearts we were fighting for? What about love? Is it just a memory? A fading song on a broken frequency. Don't let it die. Don't let it go. In this world of ice and neon glow, I remember when the fire was bright, keeping us warm through the winter night. But now the embers are turning gray, while we're just drifting further away. Turn the volume up to drown the pain, but I still hear you calling in the rain. A digital heart in a plastic chest, looking for a place to find its rest. Give me a sign, give me a breath, save this heart from a lonely death. It's not too late to turn the tide and find the place where we can hide. What about love? Don't you want it anymore? What about the hearts we were fighting for? What about love? Is it just a memory? A fading song on a broken frequency. Don't let it die. Don't let it go. In this world of ice and neon glow. What about love? Don't walk away. What about love? Stay for today. Cruising through the plaza in the simulation screen, the most aesthetic emptiness that I have ever seen. Marble floors reflecting off the purple neon light, a holographic fountain in the middle of the night. The Roman buses staring with their eyes of solid stone. I'm driving down the corridor completely all alone. The elevator music playing softly in the breeze, a digital vacation putting everything at ease. Dream The phantom drives on. That makes the city sick. Yellow smoke is rising from the factory stacks, riding on a chassis with 100 different cracks. The acid rain is melting the paint upon the hood, surviving in the wasteland, doing what I could. The filter is a savior, the engine is a beast. Welcome to the sector where the scavengers feast, turning all the toxic into the overdrive. This is what it takes just to keep the dream alive. Scraping on the asphalt, sparks upon the steel. The industrial religion is the only thing I feel. Catalytic converter, purifying pain, pumping out the venom from the mechanical vein, driving through the ruins of a broken paradise, paying for the speed with the heavy, heavy price. Catalytic converter, a chemical reaction. Find it in the dirt, a beautiful perfection. The cylinders are screaming, choking on the dust, but the V8 motor is the only thing I trust. Navigate the pipelines, dodge the falling beam, a solitary nightmare inside a fever dream. They built the shining towers up above the clouds, leaving us to suffocate inside the smoggy shrouds. But I will use their garbage to generate the power, and I will be the ruler of the darkest hour, turning all the toxic into the overdrive. This is what it takes just to keep the dream alive. Scraping on the asphalt, sparks upon the steel. The industrial religion is the only thing I feel. Catalytic converter, purifying pain, pumping out the venom from the mechanical vein, driving through the ruins of a broken paradise, paying for the speed with the heavy, a distance made of light, a permanent reflection in the middle of the night. We've conquered the valley, we've conquered the hill, surrendering at last to the architect's will. The asphalt is glowing, a ribbon of the gold, the greatest of the stories that was ever being told. One hand on the steering, one hand on the soul, taking the direction and taking the control. Sky. We are the veterans, the knights of the fire, fulfilling the prophecy of the electric desire. The platinum pulse beating in the chrome, finding in the highway a spiritual home. A symphony of photons, the symphony of speed, fulfilling every animal and every human need. The platinum pulse, the spirit of the one, underneath the shadow of the remains, legacy achieved. Red and blue are bleeding through the digital disguise, a geometric prism built to mesmerize the eyes. They painted fake horizons on the surface of the street, a holographic snare to wrap around my rolling tires. I see the laser grip projecting from the overpass, a calculated trap of light and shattered glass. The radar screen is spinning, all the data is a lie. If I believe the vision, I am surely gonna die. Left is right and up is down, the physics start to fold, a story of deception that the neon city told. shadow of the public transit dream. A serpent made of silver, hovering in space. I'm matching up the tempo, I am matching up the pace. I open up the moon roof, looking at the track. A synchronized momentum, there is no holding back. No passengers to see me, just the automated guide. A parallel existence on a midnight city ride. 60 miles an hour, keeping it exact. A beautiful connection, an unspoken pact. The hum of the magnetics, blending with the gear. The most relaxing music that a driver could ever hear. Magnetic monorail, flying in the sky. A heavy piece of metal, watching all the city by. I'm driving in the pocket, I'm riding in the wake. A rhythmic meditation that the modern world can make. Magnetic monorail, a partner in the dark. Leaving on the atmosphere a visionary mark. The stations pass us by like a flicker on a screen. A blur of advertising in a yellow and a green. We weave between the buildings, a concrete canyon run. Two mechanical brothers waiting for the morning sun. I give a little rev and the train continues on. A solitary journey till the breaking of the dawn. It's not about who wins, it's about the steady flow. Enjoying the mechanics and the neon colored glow. 60 miles an hour, keeping it exact. A beautiful connection, an unspoken pact. The hum of the magnetics, blending with the gear. The most relaxing music that a driver could ever hear. Magnetic monorail, flying in the sky. A heavy piece of metal, watching all the city by. I'm driving in the pocket, I'm riding in the wake. A rhythmic meditation that the modern world can make. Magnetic monorail, a partner in the dark. Leaving on the atmosphere a visionary mark. Side by side. Through the night, guided by the transit light. Magnetic monorail, flying in the sky. A heavy piece of metal, watching all the city by. I'm driving in the pocket, I'm riding in the wake. A rhythmic meditation that the modern world can make. Magnetic monorail, a partner in the dark. Leaving on the atmosphere a visionary mark. Train moves on, end of the line. Cruising down.
The crown is made of neon, the throne is made of chrome. The entire universe is finally our home.
We've mastered every frequency, we've mastered every gear, drowning out the silence and the suffocating fear.
The grid is a cathedral, the grid is our soul, taking the direction and taking the control. A billion processors are chanting out our name. Nothing in the history will ever be the same.
The energy is rising, a river of the gold, the greatest of the legends that was ever being told.
Kneel at the altar of the motor and the light, in the holy sanctuary of the endless night. Synthwave supremacy, ruling the all.
Watching every empire of the old world fall.
A god of the circuit,
A god of the wire,
the ultimate conclusion of the electric desire.
Synthwave supremacy,
Spirit of the pure,
the only kind of freedom,
and the only kind of cure. I look at the horizon, a sea of violet blue, telling all the secrets that the pioneers knew.
we ride on the photons, we ride on the stars, healing every memory and healing every scar.
The circuit is infinite, the glory is real, calculating justice with a steering wheel.
We are the architects of a brand new day, washing all the vanity and sorrow away.
Hail the sound! Oh, hail the speed! The final answer to every human need!
We are supreme.
Synthwave supremacy, ruling the all.
Watching every empire of the old world fall.
A god of the circuit,
A god of the wire,
the ultimate conclusion of the electric desire.
Synthwave supremacy,
Spirit of the pure,
the only kind of freedom and the only kind of
legacy established, the light remains. Supremacy.
The needle hits the limit, but the engine doesn't break. The physical dimensions are a habit I forsake. The metal turns to vapor, the carbon turns to glass. I watch the heavy burdens of the universe pass. No anger in the cylinder, no vengeance in the tire, just a pure and elevated, beautiful desire. soul made fresh. Total serenity, awake. Nobody's home. I'm cruising down the boulevard of glass and chrome. The dashboard clock is frozen at 2:45. Just a lonely driver on an endless sea. I built this heavy armor out of wire and steel to cover up the fact that I can actually feel. But driving in the silence when the engine hums, I realize the sorrow that my heart becomes. I outrun the police, I outrun the gangs, but I can never outrun these emotional things. Reflected in the mirror is a face I used to know, lost inside the glow. Looking for a silicone soul, searching for a piece that can make me whole. I've got an empty passenger seat in the night, chasing an illusion in the neon light. Looking for a spark in the circuitry. Is there anybody left out there for me? A human in a machine taking a toll, searching for a silicone soul. The radio is playing an old familiar track, reminding me of places I cannot go back. I trade my human memories for gigabytes of pain, a solitary teardrop in the acid rain. They say the new upgrades will erase the past, but nothing in the cyber world is built to last. I'm shifting through the gears of a broken dream, a silent little whisper in a massive stream. I outrun the police, I outrun the gangs, but I can never outrun these emotional things. Reflected in the mirror is a face I used to know, lost inside the glow. Looking for a silicone a silicone soul. Just me and the road, looking for a soul in the
cooling pipes begin to boil. I'm driving on the surface of a silver-colored sea, the only place where gravity can set the spirit free. The spray is cold and heavy, like a rain of melted lead, with a holographic sunset glowing orange and red. I'm carving through the ripples of a dark synthetic blue, chasing down a horizon that is never really true. The mercury is rising in the wake of my exhaust, counting every memory that I have ever lost. The ocean is a mirror, reflecting all the stars, the ultimate sanctuary for the broken and the scars. Titanium tides, washing over the chrome, finding in the deep sea a temporary home. A symphony of motion on a river of the light, surfing through the silence of the universal night. Titanium tides, dragging me away into the neon shadows at the ending of the day. A mechanical leviathan is swimming deep below, watching as my headlights put on a lonely show. I shift into the overdrive, I glide across the foam, thousands of miles away from any kind of home. The salt is made of silicone, it's biting at the pain in a cathedral of the water without a single saint. I feel the rhythm of the tide, a heavy pulsing beat, cooling down the friction and the artificial heat. The mercury is rising in the wake of my exhaust, counting every memory that I have ever lost. The ocean is a mirror, reflecting all the stars, the ultimate sanctuary for the broken and the scars. Titanium tides, washing over the chrome, shadows, the mask is made of light. A silent guardian in the middle of the night. No badge upon the chest, just the spirit and the soul, taking the direction and taking the control.
He's racing through the sectors, a ghost inside the grid, proud of every dangerous thing the ancestors did. The city's calling out for a savior in the chrome, fighting in the distance, a temporary home.
The signals in the sky, a violet glow,
Watching as the energy begins to melt and go.
he's the only answer.
He's the only spark.
Riding like a lightning through the cybernetic dark.
Neon night hero, saving every dream, riding on the ripples of a light-powered stream. A symphony of honor,
A symphony of speed,
fulfilling every animal and every human need. Neon night hero,
the master of the track.
and once he hits the trigger, there is no looking back.
The villains in the towers are shaking with the fear, because they know the legend is finally
He
here.
drifts around the borders, he shatters every gate, taking back the city from the hands of the fate. A horizontal justice, a horizontal flame. Nothing in the history will ever be the same. Stand and fight all the night.
The hero of the highway,
He's the hero of the light.
save the city. The light returns.
The hero drives on.
Night hero, night hero. Close to the asphalt, low to the ground, moving in shadows without any sound. The city is sleeping, the city is blind, leaving the sirens and safety behind. Blacked out windows in a matte finish frame. I don't have a face and I don't have a name, just a cold vibration, a ghost in the street, measured by the rhythm of a predatory beat. Under the overpass, under the light, hiding my spirit in the middle of night. Scanning the frequency, scanning the grid, proud of the secrets that the ancestors hid. Neon night crawler, sliding through the dark, searching for the friction, searching for the spark. A master of the alley, a king of the shade, the deadliest weapon that the factory made. Neon night crawler, silent and supreme, the only thing digital dream. Thermal vision painting the world in the red, counting the heartbeats and counting the dead. I drift like a liquid, I move like a cloud, far from the lights and the noise of the crowd. I'm a virus in motion, a glitch in the view, coming from shadows and coming for you. One flick of the steering, one moment of will, the absolute power of a calculated kill. No reflection, no trace, the hidden master of time and space. Now you see me. Target, acquired, vanishing again. Nightcrawler.
The artificial sun has finally burned its light, surrendering the city to the longest, deepest night. The maintenance is active on the solar panel dome, giving a quiet moment to the spirits in the home. The cooling fans are slowing, the skyscrapers are dim. We're floating on the water of the planetary rim. I park beside the overlook, I turn the engine off, listening to the silence and the heavy city's cough. The neon signs are resting, the data streams are still, a momentary balance of the architect's will. No sirens in the distance, no racing on the street, just the soft vibration of the motherboard's beat. Silicon solstice, the longest of nights, watching the flickering of the lonely blue lights. The city's dreaming, the city is still surrendering now to the architect's will. Silicon solstice, a winter of the soul, losing the frequency and losing the control. I see the real stars through the cracks inside the glass, watching the ancient constellations slowly pass. We spent so many decades living in the glare, we forgot the beauty of the quiet and the prayer. The dashboard is a memory of a violet glow. Everything is moving steady and so slow. The motherboard is breathing a heavy electronic sigh underneath the canvas of the dark and empty sky. The neon signs are resting, the data streams are still, a momentary balance of the architect's will. No sirens in the distance, no racing on the street, just the soft vibration of the motherboard's beat. Silicon solstice, the longest of tragedy. Wait for the dawn.
The sunset looks familiar. I've seen it all before. The same old neon sign above the liquor store.
The odometer is spinning, returning back to zero. The same old tragedy and the same old hero. I'm shifting into gear, but the road remains the same. A permanent inhabitant of a never-ending game. I see my own taillights, a
flickering sign to make the corporate tankers cross the fatal line. They see a wall of fire, but it's only light, a holographic phantom in the middle of the night. I drop from the overpass, a shadow in the mist, with a heavy metal weapon wrapped around my wrist. No cameras can track me, no radar can see the ghost of the highway, wild and free. I'm the master of the optics, the king of the glare, vanishing in seconds like a digital prayer. Hologram highwayman, striking for the goal, the greatest outlaw story that was ever being told. I'll hijack your data, I'll steal your precious drive, the only way a rebel knows to stay alive. Hologram highwayman, a trick of the eye, underneath the canvas of the cybernetic sky. Now you see me, now you don't. The sky is turning orange, the sun is turning rust. I'm driving through a canyon made of radioactive dust. The visibility is zero, the radiation's high, but I'm a desert demon who is never gonna die. My goggles are all clouded, my lungs are breathing fire, riding on the carcass of a flattened burning tire. I feel the static building, the lightning in the sand, the only kind of master in this devastated land. Hear the sandstorm screaming, biting at the paint in the land of the sinners. I am not a saint, I drop the heavy hammer, I kick it into gear. I am the only monster absolute authority at the center of the wheel. I'm a horizontal shadow. I'm a horizontal threat. The deadliest companion that you haven't even met. The engine is a whisper, the engine is a ghost, moving through the sectors from the coast to the coast. I don't follow the radars, I don't follow the view. I'm a black hole hazard coming straight after you. Underneath the overpass, under the violet flare, smell of the rebellion in the midnight air. I drop the heavy hammer, I kick it into gear. I am the only monster that the city has to fear. Obsidian overdrive, tearing up the grid. Proud of every dangerous thing that I ever did. A nightmare made of carbon, a nightmare made of style. Running like a predator for mile after mile. Obsidian overdrive, the spirit of the pure. Speed is the addiction and the speed is the cure. Inside the shroud, the king of the darkness is silent and proud. Engage overdrive. Lost. The shadow remains. Obsidian.
I drove off the edge of the atmospheric dome, leaving the gravity of my neon-colored home. The tires catching traction on the dark matter waves, a journey of a lifetime that the solitary craves. The windshield is a viewport to a billion burning suns, where the universal highway infinitely runs. The hood of the car is reflecting the Milky Way. I'm a navigator cruising in the ultimate of night. No traffic lights to stop me, no intersection jams, just riding on the wavelength of the cosmic holograms. I'm linking up the planets with a glowing trail of red, the greatest driving road that is stretching out ahead. Chrome constellation painted
take heart. A brand new evolution, a brand new place to start. I wired up the circuitry into the V8 block and sync the transmission with the universal clock. The first spark of the plasma igniting in the night, a technological baptism of the ultraviolet light. The engine gave a heavy roar, a frequency so new. The concrete turned to polymer, the sky a digital blue. The very first acceleration breaking out the mold, the greatest Genesis story that could ever be told. Neon Genesis drive, building up the grid, the origin of everything, exactly what we did. Paving down the future with the rubber and the wire, lighting up the darkness with a synthetic fire. Neon Genesis drive, the father of the road, writing down the history inside the mother code. The skyscrapers started rising everywhere I passed. A city made of miracles, a city made of glass. I laid down the highway, a ribbon of the chrome, creating a dystopia that we can call our home. The followers came after with the lasers and the speed, but I was the original who planted out the seed. A solitary pioneer exploring in the dark, leaving on the empty world the very first mark. The engine gave a heavy roar, a frequency so new. The concrete turned to polymer, the sky a digital blue. The very first acceleration breaking out the mold, the greatest Genesis story that could ever be told. Neon Genesis drive, building up the grid, the origin of everything, exactly what we did. Paving down the future with the rubber and the wire, lighting up the darkness with a synthetic fire. Neon Genesis drive, the father of the road, writing down the history inside the mother code. The first ignition, the first transmission. The world awakens. The earth is shaken. Neon Genesis drive, building up the grid, the origin of everything, exactly what we did. Paving down the future with the rubber and the wire, lighting up the darkness with a synthetic fire. Neon Genesis drive, the father of the road, writing down the history inside the mother code. The grid is alive. The future is here. Genesis complete. yours belong. I see the edge of the world in the gray, watching the light of the sun fade away. But I don't need the map and I don't need the view. I've got the vibration to lead me to you. The void is a whisper, the void is a call, watching the empires of the binary fall. I'm a horizontal ghost, I'm a ghost in the chrome, finding the silence and calling it home. Void runner veteran, crossing the line. The future is yours, but the history is mine. A journey of shadows, a journey of light, through the long winter of the universal night. Void runner veteran, the soul of the drive, the only way left to feel truly The dashboard is flickering, a memory of blue, telling the stories that I thought I always knew. I've outrun the hunters, I've outrun the fear. The final destination is finally here. I merge with the vacuum, I merge with the mist, a digital hero who shouldn't exist. One hand on the steering, one hand on the key, setting the heart of the machinery free. Almost there, into the dark. Keep the fire, keep the spark. One more mile. The void is open, the legend remains. Veteran. A silhouette of carbon in the alleyway of night, target in the crosshairs, keeping out of sight. I'm a phantom in the system, a ghost inside the gear. The last thing that you'll witness is the shadow of your fear. My engine is a whisper, my tires are the shade, cutting through the traffic like a razor sharp blade. The contract is accepted, the credits are all paid, watching as the glory of your empire starts to fade. Zero noise emission, zero trace design. I'm the predator of physics, walking on the line. Lock the radar target, I'm the thermal torso. The blade, the wheel, target eliminated. Carbon-clad assassin striking for the kill. The absolute direction of a cold and iron will. No mercy in the cylinder, no mercy in the spark. Just a silent execution in the middle of the dark. Carbon-clad assassin, ghost upon the road, terminating logic and terminating code. Mission accomplished. Fading into gray. Assessing out. Gasoline, offer the lead, a tribute to all of the races who bled. The spirit of silicone, the spirit of fire, connecting the souls to the electric wire. Kneel at the altar of the gear and the clutch, the only divinity that we can touch. The binary scriptures are written in blue, telling the story of me and of you. Cyber Sabbath, the machine is divine, turning the oil into the wine. A gothic procession of metal and light in the holy cathedral of the endless night. Cyber Sabbath, the rhythm of faith. Every driver is a digital wraith. The choir is singing in a frequency high, reaching the towers that touch the dark sky. We burn the old memories, we burn the old names to fuel the perfection of the electronic games. No more humanity, no more the sin, just the perfection that's starting within. A sacrament taken in a cloud of the smoke, the heavy salvation that the underground spoke. Kneel at the altar of the gear and the clutch, the only divinity that we can touch. The binary scriptures are written in blue, telling the story of me and of you. Cyber Sabbath, the machine is divine, turning the oil into the wine. A gothic procession of metal and light in the holy cathedral of the endless night. Cyber Sabbath, the rhythm of faith. digital rave. Bless the motor, bless the drive. The god of the grid is coming alive. Ritual complete. The deity awakes. Sabbath.
Completely out of style. I'm bringing the vehicle right down the velvet aisle. The chandelier shatter, the diamonds begin to rain. I'm taking the jackpot and causing a little pain. The high rollers scatter, dropping their golden chips. Confident smile is resting upon my lips. The house always wins, that's what the syndicate said, but I'm placing my bets on the V8 engine instead. Spinning the chamber, rolling the heavy dice. I'm paying for victory, using the ultimate price. The cards are all dealt, the dealer is looking pale. I'm riding the luck on a cybernetic trail. Quantum casino, taking the heavy score, leaving my tire marks on the marble floor. Betting my life on the edge of the neon wheel. I'm stealing the fortune with titanium and steel. Quantum casino, breaking the golden bank, taking the credits and filling the empty tank. The security drones are deploying the laser grid. I pop into reverse and execute a perfect skid. I drift round the blackjack, I drift round the poker game. The digital slot machines bursting into a flame. I hack into the vault with an override in the dash. My trunk is completely loaded with the quantum cash. 1,000,000 to 1, those were the odds they gave, but I'm a lucky bastard riding on the Synthwave. Spinning the chamber, rolling the heavy dice. I'm paying for victory, using the ultimate price. The cards are all dealt, the dealer is looking pale. I'm riding the luck on a cybernetic trail. Quantum casino, taking the heavy score, leaving my tire marks on the marble floor. Betting my life on the edge of the neon wheel. I'm stealing the fortune with titanium and steel. Quantum casino, breaking the golden bank, taking the credits and filling the empty tank. Bang, 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 bang.
All on black. Double it down.
I am the richest
Driver in town.
jackpot.
logic and drowning the fear. The asphalt is melting, the rubber is gone. I'm holding the trigger and keeping it on. Nitrous overload, screaming in the car. Give me the fire, and then give me some more. I'm a bullet of metal, a streak in the night, shattering the limits of the human sight. Nitrous overload, tearing up the soul, losing the gravity and losing control. Losing control. The world is a tunnel of a distorted light. I'm a predator of speed in the middle of night. The interceptors are a joke in the glass, watching the atoms of the universe pass. My blood is a chemical, a lethal design, crossing the border and crossing the line. If the engine explodes, let it be in a flash, a beautiful ending in a digital crash. Burn the valve, break the seal, feel the power of the will, push it to the limit. Nitrous overload, screaming in the car. Give me the fire, and then give me some more. I'm a bullet of metal, a streak in the night, shattering the limits of the human sight. Nitrous overload, tearing up the soul, losing the gravity and losing control. Losing control. Maximum thrust. Chassis disintegrating. Overload.
Ascending past the weather, above the acid cloud, leaving all the syndicates and leaving all the crowd. I reach the upper limits, the stratosphere of cold, to listen to the secrets that the universe will hold. The radio is picking up a frequency of white, a message from the oracle hiding in the night. She speaks into the arpeggio, she whispers in the bass, a prophecy of metal for the cybernetic race. The dashboard screen is flashing with the vision of the end, a beautiful destruction that I try to comprehend. I'm looking down upon the world, a glow and little sphere, the revelation hitting me, terrifying and clear. Ozone oracle reading from the sky, watching all the centuries and empires go by. Transmission of destiny, a forecast of the flame, telling me the winners and the losers of the game. Ozone vision for the night. Oh, so nautical. Oh, so nautical. Oh, so nautical, reading from the sky, watching all the centuries and empires
engines breathing in a single heavy beat. The sound of the revolution on the concrete street. We move in a formation, a V of the polished chrome. The masters of the road and the masters of the home. No one can stand against the weight of the reinforced steel. The absolute power of the heavy metal wheel. We are the knights of the synthetic neon dawn, until the last of the human spirits is finally gone. Lower the visors, lock the magnetic link. We're moving faster than the bureaucrats can think. A wall of the machinery, a wall of the fire, fulfilling the prophecy of the electric wire. Cyber cavalry charging the line. The future is yours, but the highway is mine. Thunder of the pistons, lightning of the spark, riding like a storm through the cyber dark. Cyber cavalry, steel in the wind, the most beautiful army that ever has sinned. Our horses are titanium, our hearts are made of lead. We're bringing the retribution to the corporate head. Through the smoke of the riots and the laser grid rain, we operate as one, ignoring every kind of pain. See the headlights flashing in a synchronized display, chasing all the shadows of the old world away. We don't need a flag and we don't need a king, just the heavy music that the cylinders sing. Lower the visors, lock the magnetic link. We're moving faster than the bureaucrats can think. A wall of the machinery, a wall of the fire, fulfilling the prophecy of the electric wire. Cyber cavalry charging the line. The future is yours, but the highway is mine. Thunder of the pistons, lightning of the spark, riding like a storm through the cyber dark. Cyber cavalry, steel in the wind, the most beautiful army that ever has sinned. Hold the gap, hold the pace. The Iron Brothers own this space. For the highway, marching on, the cavalry arrives. The road is ours. The trunk is full of hard drives, titanium and coal, containing all the stories that the humans ever told. A birthday in the summer, a wedding in the fall. The mega corporation wants to confiscate it all. They wanna wipe the history and sterilize the brain, but I am running contraband inside the acid rain. I'm a broker of the feelings, a merchant of the past. I'm making sure the echoes of humanity will last. citizens have hid. Memory bank maverick, driving in the dark, carrying the ember, carrying the spark, selling back the tears, selling back the joy to all the empty people that the system would destroy. Memory bank maverick, a phantom on the run, protecting the reality before the rising sun. I meet the contact underneath the flickering sign. A briefcase full of credits is passed across the line. I hand him over childhood, I hand him over love, while the surveillance drones are circling above. I slide back in the driver's seat, extinguish my cigar, and fade into the traffic in my inconspicuous car. They'll never catch the ghost, they'll never catch the thief, the only man providing the synthetic relief. The memory wipers trailing in their unmarked cars, looking for the smuggler hiding in the shadow bars. I take the lower tunnels, keeping off the grid, hiding all the secrets that the citizens have hid. Memory bank maverick, driving in the dark, carrying the ember, carrying the spark, selling back the tears, selling back the joy to all the empty people that the system would destroy. Memory bank maverick, a phantom on the run, protecting the reality before the rising sun. digital.